So we'll just do a quick little walkthrough of the Red Bull Ring right here. I think this lap was 54.1. This is really the only clean low 54 that I got. I have done lower or high 53s, but I didn't get any of those in this session. It's just really hard to get down there. So first things first, braking point, 100 meter mark pretty much every single time. Make sure that your tires don't go over that white line because that is an off track. So right here is just about perfect because the rear end will rotate over, but you'll keep the front right on that white line. So right at that 100 meter mark. Then we'll go back to cockpit. Where is it? There it is. It's pretty heavy braking, 80, 90%, pretty heavy, and then try and get that rotation started. I start feeding wheel just about the 50 meter mark and get it right down to that curb. So you want to get it over that curb, not hit it because that is an off track if you hit it. But you want to get it right on that curb and try and get to throttle at apex because that's how you're going to have the best exit out of this turn. It's really, really important to get down to that apex because a little bit of a dip. Oh, we have slow-mo. You see the front end kind of dips a little bit before and then it goes up. So you want to get the car rotated as much as you can to the exit and use this yellow curb on exit to keep you on track. So I believe this one was fine. Yes. So this one's fine because I kept my right rear tire on the rumble strip. So the off track here is the rumble strip. I think it's right. Yeah. So the rumble strip is the turn one. So that's just about as far as you can go without getting an off track on that one. Down to third gear for the Hyundais. So we'll watch that in just like a half speed or something here. Notice the throttle input, wait, and then back on throttle when I know that I'm not going to go off track. That one's really brutal on it, so you just have to be careful. Then going into this one, braking zone is just not quite the 50. It's more like a 60 meter mark. There's really 3 or 4 different ways to take this corner, depending on setup and things like that. What I found is a little bit tighter on entry and middle. It seems to work best for me, but you may find it a little bit different for yourself. So we'll just watch it. So this is where I think that you'll gain or lose the most time. So this particular lap, I pop out a little bit. You'll notice my car flat slides a little bit, so I don't quite have enough grip for the speed that I'm carrying in. But it's down to second gear. So here I'm just managing the wheel. I started the rotation a little bit. I turn in early, get the car down to that white line, or nearer to that white line. And then I end up popping out a little bit on this particular lap, although I'm not a big fan of being this far out. I would rather be, I don't know, I'd rather the center of my car be about right here opposed to right there. And then it's really important to not overdo this turn because you'll hit that wall. So this one is definitely better to underdrive in than it is to overdrive in. So hard on the brake, keep the wheel as straight as possible. Then right here, mid-late corner, start the rotation. Once you feel the front end kind of get into the track, the wheel gets a little heavy, then you can start feeding a little bit of throttle in second gear. You can get an off track here as well, so be careful with it. And then it's really important for this next left-hander to keep the car to the right as much as you can. So I'm all the way over here. Even if you're a foot over from where that little triangle is what I shoot for. Yeah. You know that triangle right there. And then this one can be full throttle if you get it perfect, or if you don't carry very much speed through turn 2. And this is very important to hook this curb. That carries a lot of momentum. So it's important to get your front left over that curb. And then you can basically, I do keep it full throttle this lap. And then the off track here is a little bit strange. I'm not totally sure why some of them are off track and some aren't. So that's just kind of have to, I really don't know, honestly. But this was not off track. So right there is fine. So we'll watch this whole sequence in half speed. So see here that I'm full throttle. It's important to maximize full throttle here. And then it's not a bad thing if you drop to about 90% throttle through this turn. You might lose a couple hundredths, but if it's to save an off track, it's probably worth it. So don't hesitate dropping down to about 90% throttle. Really right about here in the corner. Don't use any brake pedal, just kind of 90% ride your way out. And then this turn is terrible because there's no great braking marker. For me, it's just kind of in between the 100 and the 50, so about 75. And then it's super important to get a tire on this curb. I find there's a lot more grip the tighter you go, but don't be too tight because you do catch an off track for that one. And then you can catch an off track, same thing as turn 1 as for this. If you go any wider than I did there, it's an off track. So here it's important to keep the wheel in mind. Because if you start turning too much, then you pick up a ton of understeer. So right here, picked up understeer, but that's pretty normal. And this one, again, you can either charge hard in and slow out, or slow in, fast out. I've really kind of found a net no difference between the two. But I find slow and fast out is a lot easier on that front left tire. And then here is the white lines. As long as you can feel the wheel vibrating. So that's as far as you can go without getting it. But as long as you feel that vibration from the curb, you're okay. And then same thing going into this turn. So here you can see I kind of cheat back in. But in a perfect world, I would go straight here and keep my right tires out there. So then that leads us into the last turn, which is also incredibly important. So here, my braking point, right when that red ends, everybody's field of view, driver height's going to be different, but it's right when that red ends. And then a little bit of brake, off it as soon as possible, and it's incredibly important to be full throttle pretty much by the time you get to the apex, because there's so much grip right here. And you can cut that a little bit more than I did, but you do get an off track for that one. So yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not a lot else to it. And then on the exit is the same thing. It's those white, hold on. The last turn, it is the white. Yep, so it is the white. So we'll just watch that whole lap because I think I got 50 seconds on the recording.